Solicitor General Jose Calida on Monday files a petition for quo warranto, asking the Supreme Court to declare the appointment of Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno unlawful, thereby removing her from office. Calida is authorized under Rule 66 of the Rules of Court to commence action for a quo warranto, a proceeding which will determine somebody's right to hold public office. The Rules of Court empowers a Solicitor General to commence a quo warranto action, but Section 5 only mentions ambassadors, public ministers, and consuls can be put under quo warranto proceedings. Under the Constitution, the Chief Justice can only be removed through impeachment. Calida's petition is anchored on the accusation that Sereno did not file all the necessary statement of assets, liabilities, and network or SALINs when she applied for the Chief Justice post in 2012. The Solicitor General says his petition is an act of kindness. Calida tells Sereno, quote, "You said you want to have your day at the Senate impeachment court. The Office of the Solicitor General will not allow you to undergo the indignity that the late Chief Justice Renato Corona at the hands of politicians who unjustly convicted him. You do not deserve that." Corona was found guilty of betraying the public trust and committing culpable violation of the Constitution in May 2012. 20 senators voted for his conviction while 3 voted for his acquittal. Acting Chief Justice Antonio Carpio on Monday disputes the claim of presidential spokesperson Harry Roque that the Supreme Court affirmed joint exploration within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone as constitutional. Roque earlier said the SC sanctioned joint exploration in a 2004 ruling. The ruling involves a case between the Labugal-Bilaan Tribal Association and then Environment Secretary Victor Ramos. But Carpio says the Labugal case refers to the extraction of minerals on land territory, not the extraction of oil and gas in the EEZ. He says the Labugal case does not apply to the exclusive economic zone because the EEZ is governed by a separate provision of the Constitution. Carpio cites a provision in the 1987 Constitution which says the state shall protect the nation's marine wealth in its EEZ and reserve its use and enjoyment exclusively to Filipino citizens. He also says that a related case, which questions the joint marine seismic undertaking under the Arroyo administration, is still pending with the SC. But Roque insists the Labugal case still provides legal basis for joint exploration in the EEZ. He says, quote, "The decision said you could allow foreigners to engage in exploitation of mineral resources even in areas subject to complete sovereignty. How much more in an area where there is only sovereign rights?" The debate on joint development of resources with China comes after President Rodrigo Duterte likened joint exploration in the West Philippine Sea to co-ownership with Beijing. Malacanang calls the European Union's 242 million peso or 3.8 million euro assistance to the Philippine government's drug rehabilitation program a big boost to the Duterte administration's efforts to address drug addiction. Presidential spokesman Harry Roque says Malacanang is thankful for the EU's financial assistance. But Roque adds President Rodrigo Duterte only accepts aid from foreign entities if they don't come with any conditions. Duterte repeatedly cursed EU officials for supposedly meddling in his war on drugs, saying it is interfering in the internal affairs of the Philippines. He earlier rejected 380 million pesos or 6.1 million euros in aid from the EU because of this. The EU last week decided to modify the standard text of its future financial deals with the Philippines to avoid repeating the condition requiring respect of human rights, which angered Duterte. An official said the partnership and cooperation agreement between the two parties already states that. A University of British Columbia study says smartphones are ruining social interactions. The researchers asked over 300 participants to have dinner with their friends and family, randomly instructing each one to either leave their phones on the table or put their phones away while eating. Those with their phones were texted the survey questions they were required to answer, while those that have it kept away answered the same questions on pen and paper. The researchers discovered a pattern wherein participants enjoyed social interactions less if they were preoccupied using their smartphones. Similar results were obtained from a separate study involving more than 100 participants being sent out survey questions 5 times a day for a week, asking them how they were feeling and what they had been doing. The Shape of Water wins the Oscar for Best Pictures at the 2018 Academy Awards, besting other nominees including Call Me By Your Name, Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, Get Out, Lady Bird, Phantom Thread, The Post, and 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. The film is about an isolated woman who works for a high-security government laboratory and falls in love with a humanoid amphibian creature. It was directed by Guillermo del Toro, who also takes home the Oscar Award for Best Director. Frances McDormand wins Best Actress in a Leading Role for 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, where she played a mother fighting for justice for her daughter's death, while Gary Oldman takes home the Oscar for Best Actor in a Leading Role for his performance in Darkest Hour, where he played British Prime Minister Winston Churchill. The Best Supporting Actor award goes to Sam Rockwell for his performance in 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, while Allison Janney is awarded the Best Supporting Actress for her performance as Tonya Harding's abusive mother Lavonna Faye Golden in I, Tonya. Meanwhile, Coco wins the Oscar for Animated Feature Film. The film is about a 12-year-old Mexican boy's desire to be a musician but whose family strictly prohibits him from following his dream. Former NBA superstar Kobe Bryant also wins an Oscar for Best Animated Short Film for Dear Basketball. Dear Basketball was a short animation film based on his retirement letter from the NBA.